So here's the end result of building my Armattan tri-copter. So I've got it flying, and flies pretty good. It's a bit wobbly, but before I do actually any tuning, what I'm going to point out is it's not so much of a flaw, but some areas that could be improved on the design. You'll see that when I pick this up, I've obviously stacked this up myself, so I can run my GPS and stuff without interference. Got my receiver in there. But normally, it just has a flight controller, you know, it's fixed to the actual frame. So what I'm going to do is work through the process of making a floating section. You'll probably know from QAV 250s and stuff like that. They have the clean plates and the dirty plates, which enables the vibration through the frame to not be transferred through to the flight controller. That's what I'm going to aim to try and do. What I'm going to do is get some carbon fiber sheet. Hear me in the background here, and going to use some of this stuff that I've got left over from other builds, primarily my large tricopter, which is getting rebuilt at the moment as well, and suspend it just with regular old rubber dampeners. These are gimbal dampeners. I'm hoping they'll go alright, but all I'm going to do is start pulling this all apart and sort of just take it off the airframe. I'm going to have to pull the airframe apart to get the screws out from inside, and then make a top plate and sort of work through it from there. Let's have a go. So here we are. I've kind of stripped my harness off of the aircraft, and put all the other stuff to the side over here on the board. Let's get that out of harm's way. And what I'm going to do is, now I thought, well, I'm going to have to drill holes in everywhere, but that's not going to be the case. These holes here, even though they're an odd shape, they don't have a shoulder on the inside like these ones where I originally wanted to put it. I wanted to make the plate as wide as possible. But all I'm going to do is shove this in here, and everyone knows that these are difficult little things. And well, there we are. Put that one in there, and this one in here. Just give it a bit of a twist, make sure it goes in, and here we have the start of it. So you'll see, it's kind of, if it'll actually focus, it's sort of set in there pretty good, and I can pull on it, and there's a fair bit of retention there. So what I'm going to do is actually drill through here at this point. I did think about going back here, but I do like how the wiring comes through there, so I want to sort of retain that. So I'm going to put a hole through here, where there's actually it's the furthest part of the frame where I can actually put a hole. Getting these out is going to be the challenge, because they kind of are put in there before the frame's put together. Either that, or I may just well leave them in there. I think that might be the better way to go. Do I feel bad for drilling into this thing? Well, yeah, kind of. Well, not much you can do. That's an 8mm drill bit, by the way. Please remember, kids, if you're going to drill carbon fibre, wear a dust mask. It will hurt you eventually. So here's our 3 dampeners all in position. It's looking kind of neat. It's starting to look like it was meant to be like that. So what I'm going to do is get this going like this. I'll figure out a way to mark it. Now I'm going to run struts down here and down these 2 holes here, at the front. I really want to be able to put my camera on the front in the center and just fix it to this plate, and not have any dramas about the prop sitting in it or anything. So I think I'm going to get away with it. So here's the top plate. I drilled the holes in the spaces that I need to get through these holes and go down the side there. Here's some spacers. See what size they are. There's some that I sort of had laying around. Let's take an estimate and say they're about 30 millimeters. So they go through the frame 30 millimeters. If I pop that on, obviously I'm going to trim that plate down. They sort of protrude out of the frame a little bit, so when they go onto the dampeners, that should be good. And you can see just the amount that I can move it around. It's going to be quite good. I'm going to be pretty impressed with this one. This is the bottom plate. It's just a piece of carbon that I had laying around, and so those two together will create a bit of a section which allows some vibration. So I'm going to trim this down a little bit and see how I'll go with that. Here's a look at the top plate. It kind of looks like a bit of a turtle, doesn't it? Well, that's just interesting. So I'll flip it over. Pretty much the power harness lays out like this. Everything's going to be in about the same position it was when it was solid mounted, but the difference is I've solid mounted the power board with a nut as a spacer. I think you can see that through there, and then there's a nut on the other side of the flight control board. I can't get a good look at it. And so here's the nylon nut, and then the solid mounted, and I used the old standoffs that were on the outside, on the inside. So I'll just put the plate on there, probably the old Armattan plate on there, and that'll give it some shielding. Come on.
Also played new seasons waiting on you like Future Island. They're going to be gifts for